Morning guys, it is Thursday. It's actually 9 o'clock in the morning. I had basically an impromptu lie-in because I snoozed my alarm and didn't wake up, so I was obviously really tired. Luckily I have help at the yard, so I'm okay doing that. But I think it's important to kind of also talk about the fact that I often wake up feeling not amazing. I feel quite tired and quite kind of overwhelmed in the tasks I have to do that day. And yeah, I just want to kind of tell you guys, because if you feel like that, you're not alone. And it can be really hard when you're self-employed to be motivated. And like going forwards to Christmas, I've had a lot going on. Emily, who works for me, decided she doesn't want to do horses anymore, which is completely fine, and that's just the way it goes. But it meant that she was leaving, she finishes a couple of weeks before Christmas, and I just kind of felt quite like I've talked to her about this, so it's okay to talk about it, but I felt quite on my own because it was just me and her. I felt quite kind of like, oh, okay, I'm on my own now and I'll have to do it a lot on my own. And I have found some other help, and I think I have found somebody to start working for me in January, which is really positive, and I'm feeling really good about that. But it's just a lot on your plate all at once, and it's really important to be okay with that and just talk about it and find somebody who you can talk to about it, because it can become quite a lot, and it can make you feel like you don't want to get up and start in the morning. And I have been noticing that recently. I do find it difficult to kind of get up and get on with it, but I do, and once I do I feel good. But it is hard, it's that initial bit, and I can imagine if you didn't have something that you had to do, like clients or horses that relied on you or people that relied on you, it would be really easy to slip into like a kind of downhill spiral, basically, where one day you just you choose not to go and do what you need to do. And I think sometimes that's okay, and I've definitely had that before, and where you're feeling so low that you really do need to just take some time for yourself. But also I can imagine that if you were to do that once and then again, it would be easy to do that, and it would be easy to slip into a kind of cloud of darkness. And I'm trying hard not to let that happen, and not to have a whole day where I just don't do anything. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys, because I told you guys before when I used to really find anxiety really difficult. And is this anxiety? I don't know. Is this just real adult life and stress that can get on top of you a little bit? And it does affect you, and it does affect how you do stuff. So yeah, anyway, a bit doom and gloom to start the video, but actually there's loads of positive stuff going on at the moment. And I think it's hard when there's loads of positive stuff to kind of allow yourself to still feel like this, because like I've got Zora back in work, Mo's coming into work, Obi feels amazing, I've got loads of exciting things happening, and I do still feel a bit stressed. It doesn't kind of outweigh it, and I think it's okay to realise that you've got really good stuff going on, and also that you're feeling a bit rubbish. So yes, I am going to take you with me today. I realised my feed vlog, although very information filled, didn't have any actual me making any feeds, and people were really interested to know what exactly I am feeding each horse. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to kind of do a come make the feeds with me video bit of my video, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing with Zora and Mo as well at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to take you with me basically. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. So I just got to the yard, and first job is my old mare, oh, I'm not even in the video, my old mare Nanette, 25-year-old one. She came in last night because she had her teeth done and she had to be sedated to have her teeth done. So we kept her in because she was still a bit, and it got dark and I didn't want to turn her on in the dark. So first job is take her back to the field. So Emily's going to take her, and I'm going to take the feeds over there, and we're going to go and feed the field. So Dee Dee and Nana are now living with Kenko and Zolo. So we've got a little foursome in the field, and I put straw down in the field shelter for them, so that if they want to go and have a little lie down, that they can. And yeah, that's job one of the day. Also, I'll just add, just talking to you guys, essentially nobody right now, because I'm just talking to a camera, about how I feel, has it already made me feel like it's a bit more okay. Like, I don't feel quite so on my own with it, and I think that that is so important to remember. But this process, the videoing, talking, editing, posting, talking again to you guys about it through the comments, is so helpful to me. It's like healing. I really find it really helps. I got myself some new gardening gloves the other day when I went to a garden centre on a Sunday with my boyfriend, because I'm a grandma. Great gardening gloves, by the way. These are Town and Country. Who knows? But they're wonderful and sort of waterproof and definitely keep your hands warm. And they're also very grippy when you're long lining or lunging one and it's off with you. So, yes. Thanks for being my therapy, guys, because it's definitely helpful. Hi, guys. So, since I last saw you, I worked this lovely, handsome guy with his owner. He's here for just a couple of weeks to do some groundwork, learn about not how to run away, because he does a lot of that. Panic, run! Not ideal. And now it is Zora's turn. We're going to go do some little bit of riding in the school. So far this week I have long lined her. Good girl. I have ridden her up and down the drive. I just get over her head. Okay, you don't need to be with Auntie Emily. Good girl. And then yesterday I took her for a little hack. What's that? Just taking a little video. Zora's first ever hack, everyone. Uncle Obi. Auntie Michelle. Uncle Paddy bringing up the rear. Emily's off for the M1 again afterwards. Good girl, Zora. She's very good, weren't you? And so today we're just going to go in the school and just have a little trot around and see how she's feeling. Should we go and do a little bit of work in the school? A little bit of tritty-trotty? Bless you. So, yes, let's get tacked up. They don't have very much toe to cut off. Yeah. Just talking about Zora's feet. She's currently got no shoes on and I don't know whether I want her to wear shoes. I'd rather she didn't have to wear shoes. Zora's also bangs the door a little bit, which is quite frustrating. But anyway, let's get tacked up. I'm not even in the video doing this. No, babes. Zora. Naughty. She seems like putting everything in her mouth at the moment. Ah. No. No. This is fantastic. Zora, why are you in the mood for putting everything in your mouth at the moment? Just this grooming box was in her mouth just now. Okay, here comes my coat in her mouth. No thanks. Go back. So I just want to fill you guys in. So I'm riding on a different bridle. So this is a slightly different bit to the one I was riding in before. This is called a New Schuler Team Up bit. It's just very, very similar to the bit I was riding in previously, but with a loose ring, so it makes it a little bit more movable in her mouth, and it's a little bit thinner, so it's nice in her little tiny mouth. You beautiful girl. Taken off my coat in preparation for riding the 3-year-old, unlike last week when I just kept my coat on and nearly died of perspiration. So, yes. Are you ready? There we go. Good girl, Zora. Go on. Good girl. Zora. That was very successful. A bit fresh and it's tricky. I'm really trying not to need to lunge her every time I ride her. I don't want to do that. And in hindsight, and this should definitely be part of everybody's journey with their horses, is I should have not ridden her today. I should have gone in the arena and ground worked her in the arena and then gone to ride her tomorrow. But I really wanted to get on. And she was fine. It wasn't a negative experience, but it could have been more positive. And I think this is a real lesson that we should all learn, is that we should just go slower. Just take it a little bit slower than you think, because although she was very good, it could have been negative had I not been kind of as, well, had she not been as good-natured as she is. But yes, tomorrow I'm going to go back, groundwork her, and then she'll have a few days off over the weekend. And then next week I will be groundworking before I ride her, so that I can really get her to feel a little more relaxed in the arena before I get started. Next on the list, this little horse. Ready, Moses? Ready yesterday and she was great. So I'm just doing it really slowly, building it up day by day. A little bit of trot, a little bit of canter, but not too much. And seeing how we go, basically. I spoke to the vet about it yesterday, and he said it's quite possible that the side bone in her feet could have like stopped changing, and that then if she was to go on like hard unlevel ground, so like not to be turning her out when it's frozen, that kind of thing, that would be what could flare it up again. But it might be that we can like just sneak past and keep her sound and good, and then we can get back jumping again. That would mean absolutely everything to me. So I'm going to take her up and we're going to go and have a little ride. So I'm riding Mo in a bit of an alternative way. So Mo is extremely sensitive on her withers, and while she's building up muscle again, I am riding her in just the Equitex half pad. So I ride only in this with no cotton pad underneath. What I'm hoping to do is encourage her to build up really good muscle over her back while I'm still bringing her back into work by just using the pad, and then when she's more built up, then I can go back to using the cotton pad underneath, just because so that it keeps the spit cleaner, and it absorbs the sweat, the cotton pad, and then doesn't get so dirty. So yeah, testing it out. She worked really well in it yesterday, so I might have to invest in a close contact Equitex pad. But yeah, it really helped the saddle stay really nice and still and give her good cushioning underneath. She also had her teeth done yesterday, and there were some hooks at the back where she'd been a broodmare and I hadn't been riding her. She'd gone a little longer, so it was not even a year, but still just slightly longer. I've always had her done sort of at 9 months, and because of the foal, we didn't worry about it, so they had got a little bit sharper. So hopefully she's feeling better and more comfortable in the rain than she was yesterday. Oh. She's so grumpy.
It's in season.
With my toe.
Oh.
That was mine. She's
Oh.
so sensitive.
They're saying hello.
I guess it's a new look, these purple gloves.
Hmm?
It's a new look, these purple
Yeah.
gloves. Statement.
You have a lot of purple things, I've noticed.
I don't even like purple.
But yeah, you said that to me once, but Dee Dee's got a purple rug and Mo's got a purple rug. There's a purple cooler somewhere.
They were gifted to me.
Purple gloves. Is it not?
No. These were the only ones that came.
I think you secretly love purple.
Secret purple lover. I'm actually, when I was a child, I did actually paint my room purple.
Yeah.
That was.
I think you like purple.
No, I didn't paint it actually. It was what's it called? Wallpaper, and it was like purple with silver swirls on. It's disgusting. Very unfortunate shape this shoelace. I can't even if I really sit up, it still like looks like I've got some sort of I am with child. Maybe I'm gonna be like Mary and have a Christmas child. It's just gonna suddenly appear.
My nephew was born on Christmas Eve.
My brother was born on Christmas Day.
Oh my god.
My granddad wanted to call him Jesus.
Really? Well, Jesus. Is that what
He changed his name on Facebook once to Jesus.
Watching the stars and the city lights. Right from the start, said we never grow apart.
I love them so much.
You wanted me to know, never ever let you go, dear Wichita. Surrounded by colors, it's such a sight. Watching all the lovers fall into the night. All the moods in a heartbeat. We're going back where it all began. The same ground under our feet. Starts to shake with you all we can. Winter time to spring, I remember everything from Wichita. This town is on its knees, you know God is overseas. I'm telling you, oh, it's more to this than what you see. You know this town's got the best of me. Are we sure it's the last time? Sure that this is the last time.
She's like, you sure? She looks good.
Oh, we were down by the river all through the night, watching the stars and the city lights, and all the moods in the heartbeat. We're going back where it all began. The same ground under our feet. Starts to shake with you all we can, but we're caught in a maze.
Really nice to have her back feeling fresh, but I'm a bit concerned. So I think you noticed sometimes as she was coming across the diagonal, she'd kind of bounce and go and do a flying change that I wasn't really asking for. And previous to her having the foal, she had got into, and I think it must have been through my training, into a bit of a habit of kind of bouncing and then running. And obviously that's not very good. We can't be show jumping like that, so I'm going to have to work really hard on getting her to slow down and work on being a little more relaxed as we're jumping when it comes back to it. And I'm going to do that through the groundwork and then the flat work, so that I take a long time before I actually jump a fence, so that I can really have her between my leg and my hand a bit more, rather than her just being kind of running. So yeah, we're setting out a little pole work exercise, so that I can do some pole work on Penny, the lovely Palomino 3-year-old. She's ended up staying a little bit longer. Her owner very sadly hurt her back, so she's ended up staying a little bit longer. That pole can just go to the side of that white one. That's it. And then we'll just put 2 wings out.
I've just done 3 strides.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then we'll just put some wings out next to the white pole, and then we can have a little jump there if we get to that with her. So we'll just start by building up, walking her over some poles, and then see if we can get her jumping a little fence. As I was saying, her owner hurt herself. She slipped a disc, so she had to have surgery. So Penny has stayed here a little bit longer. She actually said that the reason she wanted Penny to stay longer was because she didn't trust herself to not go and try and do stuff with Penny while she's recovering. So she wanted to really recover, basically, before she has her home, which is totally understandable. So we get to do a bit more with Penny, which is really nice. So a little bit of pole work and maybe a little jump today.
Yeah.
Oh, good girl. This song is horrible.
This song.
Okay.
Ready?
Go. I've got really bad eye twitches today too.
Tired.
Drinks water.
She went over them. Really? Snakes.
So that is all the exercising done. Obi's having the day off today because he's been working really hard and obviously qualified for regionals and all that. If you missed last week's vlog, because I know I did the feed one, but then I also did like a show vlog. It's on my Instagram, which is @MiriHackett. Go and check it out. It didn't get as much love as I thought it was going to, and it was really funny. Like struggling with a leaf blower for ages, and I'd like you to see it. So go and have a watch. Anyway, we're having to sweep today. Emily, I'm helping picking the poop up because the leaf blower has been borrowed and not returned. So it's a nightmare sweeping this barn. It's real sticky. So we're doing that, and then we're gonna go and make the feeds. Feed vlog. Whoop whoop. Off we go with our multicoloured feed bowls. This trolley is the best trolley ever. So you'll have to excuse the feed room because there's a carpenter here at the moment and he's fixing everything. But obviously he needs somewhere to make the stuff to fix. So yeah, there goes. This is weird. I didn't know how to do this because I'm not filming it myself. But anyway, so we start with just the Safe and Sound chaff. So this isn't going well already. So this is the Safe and Sound. It contains biotin and a probiotic, and it is 5% sugar and very low starch. So it's really good to feed everything. So basically everybody gets this. So this is Alfie, for example. He's just here on schooling livery. So he just gets half a scoop of chaff morning and night, and then Fibre B. This is the Fibre B. I'm not going to wet the feeds now. Lovely bucket of slop. So that is a Alpha based feed that is basically just a really good source of fibre, but it makes everything wet and tasty, so it's a winner. So I'm now just going to do the chaff for everybody else. So Obi is the same. Penny, the 3-year-old, she just gets a quarter of a scoop, as does Paddy then gets half each. And then Mo, she gets slightly different, so she gets Alpha A oil. So she gets sort of 2/3 of a scoop each week. So I feed her Alpha A oil because she's coming back into work. She needs a bit more protein. So this is slightly higher based protein chaff, but it's yeah, again, nice and simple, not loads of sugar. Winning. So these are the field horses. So this is Nanette's feed. She didn't get, it's already made up because she was in. We fed the field horses this morning, so she had a feed with the rest of them. So she gets a whole scoop of chaff and a whole scoop of the fibre nuts, and then linseed. And so it's just micronized linseed. Kenko and Zolo. So Zolo is a yearling owned by a friend of mine. He's here living with us while he's growing. They both get half a scoop of this, and then they get some young stock cubes. So I just give them both a cup, which is about a quarter of a scoop. And then Dee Dee. So she again gets a quarter of a scoop of the young stock cubes. Quarter of a scoop of Alpha A. And then we come, where have I put it? It's in here. Then we come to the Shore Grow. So this is what this is what Dodson and Horrel were really recommending that I feed to a lot of mine. So it's a balancer. So you can see it's like these little pellets. And Dee Dee gets 2 of these cups every day. And both Kenko and Zolo both get 1 cup each. So the idea of it is when they're young and they're growing, like Dee Dee is, that it gives them all of the nutrient that they need, so I don't have to feed her a lot of bulk in the feed, and this is what is really important. She's really slow at eating, so her feed is quite small. It's not a very big feed. She just gets that once a day, and it means it adds all the nutrient to the feed that she needs without it being a huge great feed, which is what we were talking about last week. If I was to feed her just the young stock cubes, for example, I'd have to feed her like 2 kilos a day, which is like 2 big scoops of it, if not more. So Benny, yeah, it means I can feed a lot less, but she's still getting all the nutrient that she needs. So that's the field horses done. And then the stable kept horses. So Zora, she gets the chaff and the Shore Grow, and then Obi and Mo are the same. They all get 1 cup in each feed, and this means that I don't feed any nuts, I don't feed any fibre cubes or anything to those. Obi just gets the peas, and Mo and then Zora both get some linseed. Like I said, I've run out of linseed. I've got to go to the tack shop and bring it back, but that is the basic what everybody gets. This isn't a great video, is it? How have I managed to mistime this so well?
Oh wow.
Right. Real professional. So this is the linseed that I feed. So this is called micronized linseed, and as you can see, it's like these little, tiny little. Is it in focus?
Yeah.
Oh, these little seeds, and it's basically similar to us eating avocados. So one of these cups, I weighed it once, is 100 grams worth. So I give Dee Dee half a cup, and Nanette half a cup, and that's their like ration. If you had a horse that was really poor and you really wanted to build them up a bit more, then you could feed them a whole cup every day. So I go for about 3/4 of a cup for Mo, split between her feeds, and then the same for Zora. And it's not just about whether they are fat or thin, but it's really good quality feed for them. It's good for their gut, it's good for their skin, it's good for their digestion, it's good for their well-being, who knows. Give peas a chance. So then in here, oh, I need to buy a new bag. Nearly finished all the peas. So then I use my same scoop, and these are for Obi. So Obi gets 1 cup in each feed. And these are for energy. So he previously has been fed loads of like a complete feed for energy. So like he was fed one that was like a mash, but it wasn't very palatable and he didn't particularly like it. So I stripped it right back, and Obi now gets a really simplistic feed. So he gets the chaff just as the bulk, as in the fibre, and then he gets the peas for the energy and the protein. Heavenly's laughing. And then he gets the short growth for all the nutrients.
I've got the giggles, sorry.
Oh dear.
Oh, I'm trying to hold it in so bad that I'm...
So those are the basic feeds. So when the horses aren't doing loads, they just get very...
What's wrong with you?
Is it because I burped?
No, it's because I'm trying to hold it in.
Oh yeah, I need to talk about something.
Yeah, it's fine, I'm recording.
Oh. So, hay. So hay is really important. So I have always been feeding a hay that is tested. Now the hay that I feed is from a company called Old Manor Farm. Mark has always been really good to me and supports me. This isn't a gifted situation. I've always bought from Mark. So the hay that I feed has been tested, so I know how much crude protein it has in it and how much starch it has in it, and what's the other thing? The energy killer. My phone's upside down. So I've got it here with me. The dry matter, the digestible energy, that was it. So this is millijoules per kilogram is 9.2, and they say that if it is, what was it? If the digestible energy is around 8 millijoules per kilogram. This is average in the UK. Lower than this, and you'll need to feed more fibre. Less than this, higher than this, and you'll need to feed less. So Mark's hay is at 9.2, so it's a good level of crude protein. Now that was energy. Oh my god, this is complicated. That's a digestible energy. What I'm trying to say is, because I was able to give that information to Dodson and Horrel, they were able to give me a really true reading of what I need to be feeding each horse and why. This is how we should feed. We shouldn't be feeding relying on the feed, we should be feeding relying on the fibre, and the fibre being the hay or the haylage. Now I choose to feed hay because I find it's easier to control, it's not as rich, you're able to control the quantities more easily. But equally, if you do feed haylage, you can talk to your feed supplier about how to then balance it up, because it is all about balance. It's all well and good feeding a really good fibre and then feeding loads of feed on top. We've got to be able to balance it so that we're not feeding extra to what the horse needs, because if we're feeding loads of extra protein, they just pee it out. If you're feeding loads of extra, so for instance linseed, something like that, so a fatty product, they will just poop it out. So if you're feeding the right quantities, then there won't be any waste, and you can save yourself some money. And that was the point. Dog looks so sad.
It's okay, Lexi.
It's okay.
Lexi.
Not so serious. Anyway, let's talk about supplements. So, that's not the open one. So this is a supplement that I've been feeding Obi for a while now. Since he was unsound, the vet recommended that we feed him something for his bone density, because it can be, as they get older, that stuff like they have calcification and changes. So this is a vitamin K supplement, and it improves the density and strength of bone in horses. So we also feed it to the young horses. This is Bone Care Sport, and then there is a Bone Care, I think it's called Young Stock maybe, I can't remember what it's called, I'll show you in a second, and then we feed that to the young ones. He just gets 1 scoop of this, so it's Yeah, it's the only supplement that my vet actually recommends, and that is saying something because he thinks that supplements are a load of rubbish. So, because he's very experienced in the matter. So this is, yeah, he feeds this to his young horses, so it must be pretty good. So this is the next supplement that we feed. So this is Boswellia serrata. I don't know why it's called serrata, but it's like a yellow. It smells pretty mank, but it's an anti-inflammatory. So both Obi and Mo get this. And it helps them feel like it's basically like, it's a bit like a natural form of Nurofen, which is ideal. And they're a bit older and they've got some stuff going on in their joints that can just really help keeping them feel comfortable and keeping the inflammation out of the joints, which is where then the discomfort comes from. Have some table salt, not feeding it at the moment because nobody's been sweating profusely, but through the summer they will all be getting the salt. And when Obi works really hard, he gets some salt to help replenish his electrolytes. And then the good old spirulina. God, this stuff stinks. Where's the scoop?
Outside of the bag.
So the only horse getting this at the moment is Mo. I've always fed it to her because it's good for her breathing. She tends to cough. I don't know whether that will be in the video of her coughing on when I started, but she just gets one level scoop, split in half, and this is really good for her breathing and also again from her muscle growth because it's high in protein. So it's a winner from me. What else have we got? Aha. This is the calmer that I've been telling you guys about. This is the calming powder. So it helps with the neurotransmitter serotonin, which means that it helps the horse to feel more comfortable on their own. It doesn't like sedate them and make them feel sleepy, but it helps to make them feel confident basically, which is where often I think calmers go wrong. It's not a magnesium calmer. And the only horse that's having this at the moment has been Mo is having, which is her morning feed, that one. Yeah. Mo's been having this one scoop every morning, and then Obi has it the day before a show and the day of a show to help him feel a little bit more confident and battle those competition nerves that he seemed to have been getting. So, yeah, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, the bone care.
Oh, for Zolo.
Just as bone care on it. So this is the bone care that Zolo gets. Slightly different. I'm not sure entirely what it is that's different about it, but this is more for horses when they're developing. So we feed it to them to help their bone density when they're young. We feed this to the young horses when they're young, so that they are the young horses when they're young.
Great.
It's a great video, this. To help with the bone density when they're growing, so then when they get older they don't have the problems that they might have had if their bones aren't really good and strong. So I'm actually going to start feeding this to Dee Dee. This isn't my tub of it, this is Claire's, who owns Zolo, so I'm obviously not just going to nick hers and start putting it in my feed. But yes, I designed for young horses to help with their bone development, so anything to keep them sound, right? So that's it basically. It's pretty simple. Nobody gets fed loads. Do you want to try and show them the actual quantity of what it looks like? So we were talking with Dodson and Horrel about quantities and actually how a horse can only really take on a rugby ball size amount of feed, and that is pretty much horse wide. Obviously it's going to vary between a horse like Obi and a 12-2 pony, but even a horse like Obi, as big as him, shouldn't be eating much more than this quantity of feed. So you can see it's like a kind of quarter of the bucket maybe filled up, and then he'll get half a scoop of slop, fibre beet, in it, and that will be it. And then just that with ad-lib hay, which is the tested hay that's of really good quality. So you can save yourself money when you're feeding your horses. I bet this is a real angle.
That's alright actually.
Yeah. You can save yourself money when you're feeding your horses. Lots of fibre and good feeding practice. Learn about it. Educate yourself about what you could be feeding your horse, and you could just save yourself a few pennies. That is the end of today's video. So I hope I filled in a few gaps. So Zora's back in work, Mo is back in work, Penny did some polls, and you guys learned about what I feed the horses. I feel a lot better than I did this morning. Like I said, definitely talking about stuff really helps, and making lists and starting to do the jobs you have to do that day. Stop eating my coat, please. I really like this coat. Stop it. So yeah, I hope this video was interesting and helpful, and that you enjoyed watching me ride the horses that I enjoyed riding. If you did like the video, then please do give it a like and do subscribe to my channel to see more of my general life ramblings. I'm going to go because I'm being chewed up by this horse and I need to go and do some riding and teaching this afternoon. But I do hope you liked the video, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye for now. No! Actually, chewing the popper.